Hello and welcome back to Foos Entertainment. This time for my review of 2019's Captain Marvel. Well, I won't say much about Brie Larson except for just two little things, and I'll just get through that like really fast. I'm sorry, I can't keep my mouth completely shut about it. Brie Larson, A Wrinkle in Time is a bad movie. It has nothing to do with how old the audience was. And so you're actually in the wrong by saying that A Wrinkle in Time is not designed for 40-year-old white men. And, yeah. I have to say something about that because, as everybody knows on this unbiased movie review and karaoke channel that I run here, I am very, very verbal about being completely against and 100% anti-racist, and that was racist remarks, so I had to call you out on it. Sorry. And I'll also say this. Hollywood is no place for left or right wing politics, cynicism, racism, favoritism, and yeah, I will definitely put it here, narcissism. There's no place for it in Hollywood, especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And having $1 billion movie does not make you better than everybody else when it comes to the MCU. And you should be thanking Don and Chris for not yelling at you in those interviews you did last week. That was absurd. But that said, though, I gotta hand it to you, Brie. I liked this movie. I liked this movie, which brings us right into it. I don't know if I'll get, penalized for being spoken about that, but I've been seeing people do it on YouTube all weekend, so I don't think I will. But let's get to what we love to hear from me, and that is what my opinion is of a movie. Alright, well, Captain Marvel from 2019. Well, Captain Marvel was a very enjoyable movie to me. I really loved how it has a lot of Easter eggs that relate to every other Marvel movie. I mean, there's so much in this movie that relates to other movies. Like, for example, we kind of see the background of the Kree, who we would see, obviously, in the first Guardians of the Galaxy and hear about in other movies. It's our first time we see Roland the Accuser. We kind of see his backstory as well, that he has been involved with the Kree for a long time. Now, in categorical order, in the MCU themselves said that this film does not actually fit in the timeline, but it actually does. It's the second movie in the timeline for the MCU. So you would actually, if you had it on Blu-ray, which unfortunately we did not because it's in movie theaters, which is why I watched it out of order. If I had it on Blu-ray, I would have watched it on April 2nd, the day after Captain America, the first Avenger. And of course, we get introduced to the Skrull, which you only heard about, but we actually now get introduced to, and they're very, very cool. Their shape-shifting abilities and stuff, and the way they kind of look. Other Easter eggs, of course, would be, how did Nick Fury lose his eye? Well, there's this like heroic cat throughout the movie that's actually an alien cat, and he protects Nick Fury. He actually even swallows like groups of Kree villains at the end of the movie. He actually swallows them. Well, don't let this cat scratch you, because that's what the cat did. So lost his eye. And then of course the Tesseract there's a lot to do with Captain Marvel was a Tesseract. Because this kind of goes into the plot of the movie, I guess we're going into that now. But we're at 5 minutes and 12 seconds. So we'll rant at the beginning of the video, so we can go into that now. Brie Larson plays 3 different characters in this movie, if you really think about it. When we first see her in the movie, she is a character of Veers. And Veers is a commando, I guess, of sorts for the Kree. She is commanded under the character that Jude Law plays. Sorry, I forgot about the characters' names, but at least we get the main point here. And she has these special powers and abilities that none of them else of them have. But she also has no memory of her life before becoming a member of the Kree. You know, a soldier of the Kree. So there's this AI for artificial intelligence that takes a liking to a female doctor in Veer's past life that she doesn't remember. He was played by Annette Bening. And, well, on a mission with the Kree to track down an undercover agent of the Kree. They get ambushed and she gets captured. Just her. By the Skrull. The Skrull start probing her mind. And it unleashes pretty much memories. Repressed memories that have been hidden from her. She starts remembering things. So she goes after the Skrull, still believing they're a villain. We'll get to that later. Goes after the Skrull. At this point in the movie, we think it's a villain. And ends up going to Earth. While hunting down the Skrull, members of the Skrull, S.H.I.E.L.D. gets involved. The earlier days of S.H.I.E.L.D., I might add. Where we have a very young Nick Fury and a very young Agent Coulson. And they apprehend her. They do get her. They do actually arrest her, and they do take her into custody. Then Fury, who's just known as Agent Fury, not Director Fury at this point in time, finds out that what things he's saying about the Skrull is true. And about the Korean stuff. So he breaks her out, and they battle it on with the Skrull. Just to find out that the Skrulls are not the villains. And that her past life, she was a Air Force captain by the name of Carl Danvers. So, Veers, since. And where that is right there is... she had her dog tag from her military days when the Kree got her. And this, all I had was the last like 4 letters of her name on it. Hence Veers. Carl Danvers. Then she finally remembers everything. She remembers that Annette Bening was actually this doctor she was working with on a experiment, which evolved the Tesseract. She was actually a Kree who turned away from her own kind because she discovered that the Kree are an invading force of conquerors that want to conquer the universe instead of protect it. And that they have all but just wiped out the Skrull, and the Skrull are just looking for peace and harmony. And so she was devising this weapon of peace with the Tesseract. Well, the Kree catch up with her, and Captain Danvers, Carl Danvers, sacrificed herself to destroy the Tesseract, or as I say, the weapon. And I believe the Tesseract was destroyed, but the weapon was. And what happened was the Tesseract, I guess, somehow exploded or something. Or sorry, something happened to the Tesseract. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what happened to it. But the power, sorry, the Space Stone. Yeah, it's the Space Stone. whatever Infinity Stone inside of it, which I believe is the Space Stone, went ahead and all the power transferred itself into her body, changing her at the molecular level. Now her powers have been suppressed. Now when she finds out all of this and finds out about her past life, she goes ahead and battles it out with the Kree because she feels betrayed. When battling with the AI that has been kind of controlling her, she finally takes complete control, and that's where she becomes Captain Marvel and has all this unlimited power. And that's basically how that is. And she does defeat her Kree oppressors and takes the battle to them and liberates the Skrull. And that's when she gives Nick Fury the pager that we see at the end of Infinity War in the post-credit sequence, saying only call me on emergencies. And then she goes to do battle with the Kree, which we don't really hear about really at all in Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, that's what she's been up to. And the post-credit sequence of the movie we've seen already at the second post-credit sequence of Infinity War. Now I can't speculate on audio and video quality for the movie because this is a movie theater, and the problem with movie theaters is everything looks and sounds exactly the same on the big screen. So you can't really tell if the color templates are warm, neutral, or cool. But I can tell you a little bit more about some of the other Easter eggs in the movie. Like, for example, her Air Force code name was Avenger. And that's actually how we got the name The Avengers Initiative by Nick Fury. And obviously, she gave Nick Fury the Tesseract to keep safe. So now we know how the Tesseract came into the hands of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was not, a long time ago, a very young Howard Stark picked up at the bottom of the ocean, or wherever the hell Steve crashed. No, that's not. That probably led into how Dr. Fisher, whatever her name is, Annette Bening's character got it, but how Nick Fury got it was Captain Marvel gave it to him to keep it protected from the cosmic world, aliens and stuff. So that's pretty much all the Easter eggs right there. Like I said, in my overall opinion, a lot of people really wanted to bash this movie. Well, people, I agree if you want bashing Brie Larson for being a narcissist and for being very, very rude to her cast and crew members in the MCU. In her very, very reckless, I can keep my mouth shut attitude. Because of ceremonies and event, social events and Hollywood events, you can't keep your mouth shut. So yeah, I agree. Brie Larson really has a lot to learn, but no, we can't give up on Brie Larson. Everybody has to learn. I mean, every single one of us were a narcissist before. Everybody has that problem sometime in their life. Everybody grows out of it. I had a problem myself. I grew out of it. Brie Larson will grow out of it. As for the movie itself, Captain Marvel is not what everybody says it is. This is actually a very good movie. I really, really enjoyed Captain Marvel. And I definitely know that if I say I enjoyed it, then that might turn a few heads to saying, well, wait, if this guy enjoys it, and this guy's always very true, you don't screw around, he actually says stuff how it is, then the movie has to be good. So I advise you to watch it, and I will see you guys next time for my review of Ant-Man. Until then.